Georgia has different types of adoptions. We have agency adoptions, we have private adoptions, and then we have your most common step-parent or family adoptions. And that is, as the name implies. So if you are, for example, a mom and you get married and your new husband wants to adopt your child, this normally happens in situations where the biological father is not in the child's life or is really just not an active participant in the child's life, where the stepfather adopting the child and taking that paternal role would not cause a disruption in the child's life. When you're doing an adoption in Georgia, courts want to make sure that the child is being placed in a safe, secure home. Therefore, an adoption requires that there be a home investigation to make sure that, again, the child will be placed in a safe home that can actually care for the child. The requirements for home investigations are a bit different for step-parent adoptions versus third-party adoptions, and that's because as a step-parent, well, the child is already living in the home with the step-parent, and really nothing the court can do will change that. Versus adoptions where the child will be placed with a third party, whether the court says yes or no will determine if that child is placed in that home. And the investigation process can be a little intensive. They look into the party's finances, they look into the criminal background, and they do home checks where they actually review the physical home where the child will live. When they inspect the home, they are looking for safety. So they don't need you to have a mansion, or the child doesn't have to have a huge bedroom and 100 toys. They want to make sure the home is stable, secure, has the basic necessities, really: food, water, a room for the child, and of course that you have, fridge, food in your fridge, just your basic necessities. Adoptions in Georgia are fairly quickly. Judges try to get an adoption done within 3 months, which for most types of cases is pretty fast, and considering the amount of things that have to happen before an adoption occurs. So a criminal background check has to be done, the home investigation has to be done, and the final hearing has to be conducted before an adoption is final. But in general, 3 months is about your time that it takes to finalize an adoption. In Georgia, adoptions are such a fun thing, not just for attorneys or the families, but for judges as well. Judges love adoptions because compared to their other cases that are a bit more sadder or just, not great feeling, adoptions are a happy process. For that reason, they tend to happen fairly quickly. The judges get them on their calendar super fast, and they're just excited to do this for you. Adoptions are complex as far as the moving parts, as far as the paperwork involved, as far as the steps involved, which is why when you hire an attorney who has experience handling them, the process on your end is very simple. A good attorney will take the complexity out of it for you. So just like divorce is, adoptions can also be contested or uncontested. For example, you can be adopting a child where the parent, the biological parent, is voluntarily surrendering their parental rights. So these are what we call uncontested adoptions. And although the paperwork can be a bit complex, the process itself is quite simple, especially when we have the biological parent consenting to the adoption. Compare now contested adoptions where you are trying to adopt a child and the biological parent objects to the adoption. These adoptions can take longer. They can be a bit more complex because essentially you will be going to court to prove that the biological parent is unfit and their parental rights should be terminated. If you have any questions about the adoption process, please give us a call. We'd be happy to discuss your situation with you.